Hi, this is Phil, and I'm here to tell you all about the Capes and Lunatics Patreon. Get early access to all of our interviews, including the monthly Chichester Chats with writer and comic book legend D.G. Chichester, new episodes of classic Capes and Lunatics shows, including The Quantum Zone, This, That, or the Third, and many, many more specials, all completely uncensored. Access starts for $3 a month, full video when you pledge $5 a month. Check out the link in our show notes, or go to patreon.com/CapesandLunatics. Hope to see you there.
This is D.G. Chichester, and you're listening to the Capes and Lunatics podcast.
Man, listen to that young man.
Wow, I sound good.
I know. All right, welcome back, kids. All right, you already heard the voice. Yes, me and Lilith are back to talk to the man, the myth, Mr. Don't call it black, don't call it armor. It is Mr. D.G. Chichester.
Unless you're going to buy the issues. Yes, exactly. the issues of the trade paperback. If you want to ask for Black Armor trade paperbacks, you are applauded for that.
We're gonna buy multiple copies. You can call it whatever you want, kids.
I have my 20 copies reserved at my local shop because I know I'll get one for Marvel.
Is Mom taking the trip to get a trade?
Yeah.
Oh,
nice. She'll take the trip. She took a trip the other day for the Daredevil 8.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, thank God all your pages were in there.
I know. Well, she won't read it. Anyway. I mean, going to the comic store, displaying the comic, she's taken major strides, but I don't expect her to read it. She was shocked. I think I told you guys, it's like somebody was talking about there's a character, there's a superhero character. He's like a lawyer or something. It's like, and she was telling me about this. I said, yeah, that's Daredevil.
That'd be my mother. All right. So yes, kids, we got, just when we thought we were, they robbed us of an issue of Daredevil Black Armor. We get a few extra pages here in the pages of Daredevil number 8, the 60th anniversary issue.
Right. Just when you thought it was safe to go back in the comic book store.
So did they come to you while you were working on Black Armor? Or?
No. This was like a surprise kind of email. I don't think it was a call. I think it was an email from Devin, kind of out of the blue, and they had somebody, who was putting this issue together. So this was after Black Armor was done. I think the last of Black Armor had already come out as well. So it wasn't just that I was done. I think the book was out, and they were constructing this issue. So he was obviously already well on his way, and they had a spot for a 10-page story, which he had set up with somebody else, and for whatever reason, some scheduling conflict or whatever, he was concerned that wasn't going to happen, and so he said, "There's a spot if you want it, but you've got 5 days to write it." So which is, even for a 10-page story, to kind of go cold open, as it were, is a little bit tight. Just you've got no expectation, it's kind of coming up. He said, if you can do it in 5 days, we can make it work. And then, somewhat typical of the Daredevil office, which I deeply appreciate their feedback on everything. And we could talk about, they made me really work for this one. I sent back a couple of questions because he said, we want to do it in the Black Armor. We want to use the Punisher, the classic Punisher. And so I sent back, several questions, kind of like, all right, so do we want to do this? Do we want to do that? I can't remember exactly what they were off the top of my head, but I didn't hear anything back. And, the days are ticking. So I just jumped in and wrote the draft. I said this, I took my own expectations and ran with them. So hopefully they meet yours. And they did, with some important considerations. I think I worked harder on feedback with this 10 pages than I did over the entire 90 pages of the miniseries.
So you said, wait, did you say they wanted Black Armor, or?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
He said he wanted a Black Armor story and classic Punisher, as it were, and so that was kind of the remit or the assignment, and so jump in and run with that as best you can, and so it was. Obviously, I was already in a Black Armor zone, or had been, and but having to put back on the Frank Castle skin was was its own thing. I had to pull out all my How to Kill books again.
Mr. Lovable.
How to not be competent.
Oh God.
Oh, he's competent. He's competent.
No, this time around, yeah, but most of the time.
I have read some. We can go on a whole episode of this, and I've read some Punisher stuff more recently. Not for this. It's sort of like once I just did this based on my own Punisher, mandates and my own Punisher familiarity. But it kind of got me thinking a little bit about Punisher. So I checked out some more current Punisher stuff, and man, it is some awful stuff out there. Not the current reimagining of it. The David Pepose, Dave Wachter thing is, I think, quite good, but that's different. This is a different character. I'm talking about like some Frank Castle stuff. It's bizarro.
You mean like bad writing, or that got dark?
A little bit of both.
Oh, okay.
A little bit of both. I mean, there's some bad writing, and then there's some just the dark stuff. Was, I guess, the Mac stuff I read. It was like, I don't know, like, and there was a whole like, which went, which is a whole reimagining, and I didn't care for how dark it went, but I don't think it was poorly put together. I think it was quite good for what it was. But there was some other stuff I read that was just, boy, this is like, wow, the Punisher lost a gun under a stove, and then he found it later. That seems right. Not.
Punisher's had his ups and downs for sure.
He's had his ups and downs.
Oh yeah.
The witty repartee is far and few between for Frank Castle a lot of the time, so it was a pleasure.
Do you find Frank like a good foil for Matt? Because he's just so black and white, and
no, I always found the Punisher and Frank Castle, and I came out of like being a huge fan of Stephen Grant and Mike Zeck's run, and Chuck Dixon as well. But I think Steve Grant even more so. And to me, they made him a character. They made him a real like character, and he had things going on. And I tried to channel that whenever I would use him back in the day, and most explicitly and extensively in the Captain America team up, the Blood and Glory, story. So I don't see him as just totally like black and white and, being this like one word kind of robot or something. I think there's stuff going on there. And it was fun to kind of be able to channel that even in a few small pages. And ultimately, again, that flow state we've talked about, which I'm very grateful for, is, kicking in, just kind of comes up even in this tight run. Cause I had to write that 5-day turnaround was also like a full script. So it wasn't just, I got to like do the plot beats and then I got to, script it afterwards. I had to come up with the whole thing. So, which is not my favorite way of writing or working on these things, but I found the Frank Castle moments, just kind of came really well. I was, I was really delighted, especially with the one line about, people lie to me all the time, mostly last words, which is like, which just felt so like, zoned in on the character. But
so, I mean, I'm thinking about it. That is a quick turn. I mean, the 5 days, I mean, just for the writing itself, I mean, that's a quick turnaround. But then you got to get everything to the artist and stuff.
Yeah, it was great to see Lashley again. So,
and I don't know what his turnaround was.
Was that serendipitous, or did you know?
I did not know until Devin had assigned it, but I know he had a very tight turnaround as well. I don't know exactly what his his turnaround was, but the pages showed up very rapidly, and so and he said something. We corresponded briefly on online, and he said it was a tight was a tight turnaround. I think he would have liked a little more time, but I think he did an amazing job. I mean, the first thing I saw, I think, was the Punisher rooftop, shot,
nice.
and just immediately Castle's a beast.
Yeah.
No, the one where he's like, I think I saw the, where he's like got the sniper rifle or whatever.
Oh,
and just the physical presence was just, great. It's great to see, that, and it just had a lot of like great effect, and then it makes it feel more real.
Yeah, no,
and
I was impressed with the art before that, but now learning he had this quick turnaround, I'm really impressed with his art.
Yeah, and I was just saying to somebody online, the shot where he's got Daredevil with the arms spread and protecting the father and the daughter, he really nailed that, nailed that. I mean, he that was described. That's the plot. There's 2 panels on that page. And I describe it, and here's the effect, and here's the dialogue, and such. But I think he made that really extraordinary and heightened the visual presence of it even more so, because it's right up against that giant explosion. After the Punisher just torches the guys in the recreational vehicle, and and he in the heavily armed recreational vehicle. And so that's a huge explosion, and yet he made the Daredevil panel, I think, even more impressive than the explosion. So, which is what it should be. But that's him really finding a great visual balance of it.
Oh yeah.
But there was a fair amount of back and forth on the script, even because with the way they work it nowadays is like I think they look at the script and they look at the plot, but editorially they come back after the art is in, and then I think they read the writing and the script more in situation, after it's been lettered, and now they're responding to it. So there was more feedback from the editorial office after the fact, to continue to hone in on the dialogue and the captions. So there were 2 scenes that got cut at the plot at the first script stage. There was an opening Ben Urich scene, and then there was an ending Kingpin scene, which I quite liked, which sort of established that these guys, these skinheads, had been hired by the Kingpin, to steal that equipment and help finance some new drug operations he was putting together. But Devin had nixed both those for space, and he was right, to do so. I thought they enriched the world, and they sort of tied back into a few things, but we were able to open things up visually more by doing that. But so those got nixed early on, but then there was a lot of back and forth on some of that dialogue and captions.
Or were those pages there and they just didn't make it into the issue? Because, I mean, again, some of
the
pages,
yeah. So,
no,
yeah.
Oh yeah. Those, where are those scenes? They're hidden away in the missing signatures. No, they definitely were not. They were definitely not part of the equation.
Phil, you need to change that to number 2 fan. His mom is number 1 fan.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm not his.
I don't know. I think she's number 1 fan of buying the issues. I don't.
I don't think comic book shop is a great community space.
I don't think I'm as harsh a critic as his mother of his work. So
truly.
And again, of course,
did you?
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead. Go.
I was gonna say, so was it? So you found it easy to just slip back into it, or did you or was there like an idea that was bouncing around from when you were previously working on Black Armor that kind of helped shape the story, or?
The story I think is fairly. Here I'll be my old critical self. The story itself is fairly light. It's a kind of a call it expected dance, between the Punisher and Daredevil, on a rooftop, one so severe, the other looking, beneath the perceptual levels to kind of pick up on the humanity. And so, it reflects, I think, a lot of kind of the expected rhythms and dances, between them, hopefully done in a good way and in an entertaining way. but it wasn't a story that was, like out there, like I had to tell. I think once he said, hey, it's a Black Armor thing, then I, picked up on, all right, well, let's draw some things in. Like, let's get, like doing the street legal thing and the, Randy's still with him and those sort of things. Like, let's pick up on those cues in a nice, little way. And originally he had suggested, even dropping Randy and stuff. And I said, I can leave her in and she's not going to affect the flow, of it, too much. But to me, it was like a nice way to kind of like draw that little piece of steel, whatever cord across from the Black Armor world that we just expanded and established and show things here, because now this is his meet cute with, this is the Black Armor Daredevil's meet cute with Punisher, who he never met before. Right. And this is the first time they're meeting. So we get a chance to open that era up even a little bit more. Like right now, it's just my era. But, maybe this again sort of continues to establish that idea that there's stuff here to play with. Even if I only come back and play with it, in 10-page increments or something. But
And we did get again, every issue or whatever has to have the trademark Black Armor joke. So of course Punisher.
Oh yeah,
the old guy was red. What do I call you, Black Armor? No, that won't work.
That's not gonna work. Yeah, yeah, and that was another like place to kind of like just bring it forward, even within the 10 pages. It was a nice little nod for me at least, and not feeling like it was overcompensated or overcomplicated. For any good reason, but it was so recent, obviously, that it felt like it was still appropriate.
All right, can I make a suggestion? If you do get to play in the Black Armor sandbox again for a villain,
Carnage?
No. Oh, if you want to, I know you're chomping at the bit to do it. No.
That would be my vote.
Oh,
I actually had a Carnage idea the other day, so we'll see if that ever if that ever turns into something.
Well, I don't know if they're going to kill Carnage off, but no, I love your Taskmaster, and I think it would be funny to see Black Armor Daredevil against Taskmaster, because Matt will be like, oh crap, he can read body language. I'm going to have to fight all completely different so he doesn't realize it's me.
Oh, that's a cool idea. Yeah, very much.
You're just pitching that for Ray. You're not slick, Phil.
No. I love Dan's take on Taskmaster, and he's like, again, he was in that first story you did, that first Daredevil you did with Matt and Punisher.
Right, before I really knew what I was. Well, who knows? I know what I'm doing now. I don't know if I really knew what I was doing then.
Well, but, and then he came back for the Grease storyline.
Well, the Grease story, a different Taskmaster, a different take on him, a different appreciation. I actually enjoyed the hell out of all those characters, as you know, in that story. So, that one I stand by without any compunction whatsoever.
And I also enjoyed the inside joke when they're talking about the gun, and Punisher's like, oh, it holds 950 rounds or whatever, and Matt goes, oh, I lost count after 380. I get it. I got it.
You get it. You got it.
Subtle.
It's like subtle, a little subtle. I mean, it's but that's a kind of I'd say that's got in the writing process. Those are the kind of things that a solid Frank Castle line leads into something like that. Like I didn't come at that from Castle is well informed about weapons and and tactics and all this kind of stuff, right? So he would recognize the sound of that or the rhythm of that, and he would spout some statistic like that, or put that out in a gruff sort of way. So that's the line that sets it up, and then it's like, all right, so do we just leave that flat? But then that triggered the Daredevil line of like, oh, he should come back with another number, and then it just arbitrarily
just that little extra meta touch. Love it.
Yeah, and then it's exactly. It's a fun little thing, and that plays any way you want. Plays with my 380 or 380 just being volume 1, or somebody just thinking it's just a number. It doesn't get in the way of anything. But it was fun.
Well, I was going to say this story is a good advertisement for the Black Armor trade coming out, but I'm just like, shouldn't we have had an ad in the book that says, oh, hey, go pick up the Black Armor trade if you missed it?
Yeah,
It's in the missing pages.
maybe it's definitely the.
Oh,
missing
please!
pages.
I'm sure
Right.
accident or not, no ad got lost in a.
Right. No ad signature. Oh, there might have been actually. Right. So I think it was a whole signature. It looks like.
Although we don't get a lot of ads in comics anymore, unless it's like for another Marvel thing.
Keep it in house,
Yeah.
No more Nintendo NES.
Right. I mean, dollar-wise, it may not make sense. But I've been, that's why I do my own advertising.
And you do it well. Again, that marketing background,
That's the other thing. I don't think it's you. It's like I don't see them like advertising like a lot of trades. Like they might like advertise, oh, here's the number one of a new series or something. But I don't think they ever really advertise the trades a lot.
Which is ironic because that's what they write for. So.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I felt very much from the get-go that this was being written. I mean, I didn't treat it that way. I mean, I treated for Black Armor. I treated each issue as, we got to lead people through. We can't just assume it's all going to be part of the collection. There's set up in each issue, hopefully enough. But I mean, I think they announced the trade.
Yeah.
Before the first issue came out. The trade will be available in April or May or something like that. So people know it's coming, which you're then kind of complicating or possibly undercutting sales, I would think, because people are just going to say, well, I'll wait for the trade, and I'll get it all then. And then hopefully they still remember or are interested by the time a trade comes out. Whereas before, I always felt like trades were representative of how well something had done or that there was interest in it. It's like, oh, that series did really well. We'll collect it into a trade. It wasn't a given that it was going to happen. Electro Assassin, going way back in the day, was not intended to be a trade paperback when Frank Miller and Bill Sienkiewicz did it. It was just that it had been so phenomenal as a creative exercise and also sales-wise. It was like, oh, of course we're going to collect this.
Yeah, back then they didn't collect everything. Now I think they collect every single thing.
Right. Oh, well, especially these limited runs are oh, we only got so-and-so for 4 issues on this book or 5 issues on this book, and which is like, that's their entire run, right? Oh, I did Daredevil for 5 issues or something. It seems like it's a miracle when people stay on books for an extended amount of time. So it's either a limited series or they're only on the regular series for a short amount of time. So let's collect them in 1 or 2 or 3 like volumes.
Yeah, I can't remember if we discussed it. Did they ever put that in your head? Like, oh, hey, we're going to collect this, so keep that in mind when you're writing each issue, or?
No, I mean, I knew they were going to collect it. I mean, Devin may have said that like almost from the get-go. And I knew, again, from early solicitations, that the trade paperback solicitation, or at least notice, was out there like way early on. But I think he had mentioned it because I think he and I discussed at one point. Well, do you want me to write this as if we're worried about like issue to issue kind of level setting, or, should I just write it like it's I'm writing the complete story and I'm not worried so much about the setup? And the right decision was, no, make sure that the readers of issue 2 have enough grounding to appreciate what they're coming into. So you do get repeats of, well, what's the biomimetics and what's the, who am I and what's the Jack Batlin riff that are not necessarily probably necessary in the whole trade paperback, but are better. They better serve the reader on an issue by issue basis. Although I think when you read the whole trade paperback, there will be certain things that I know I set up early on that will work better in one read. Strucker's monologue in issue 1, where he's doing the whole measure up type of thing, gets answered by Daredevil in issue 3, where he's like, by any measure, there's only one Daredevil, comes across stronger when you read it as one. Or I remember people criticizing, the use of the Mole Man, early on, because it's like, oh, he didn't do anything with him, where I knew he was going to pay off, in issue 4. So that will be more satisfying when you read it like all in one.
And I'm sure it's too late now, but when we go back for a second printing of the trade, can we add this story to the trade? Maybe.
That's maybe. I'll certainly suggest that. Although that would require. Well, I don't know how many other. I don't know if there are other pages in the trade. I think there might be they had me and Netho write like little kind of afterwards or something, but they were going to be included in the last issue, which didn't make it. So I think Devin had said they were going to push them to the trade. But I don't know if they made it there or not. It'd be nice if they did. But that would have added at least half a signature if they can do that, because those pages, I assume they'll put all the covers. Maybe they put all the covers. It'd be nice if they did. And maybe there's then room for that story. Or we do a bunch of 10-page, Black Armor stories, and they collect those. And
we could always use more Daredevil anthologies, honestly.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's the old, that was the old Mark Grunwald solo Avengers thing. Those were 8-page stories. I mean, if you can tell a story, you can tell a story in 8 pages, and have it set up and pay off and all those good things. In 10 pages, it does the same thing here. It's not ideal, but you can do it.
I don't know. I'd keep some scripts handy, because I'm thinking once Born Again comes out, they're going to be looking for Daredevil content to put out there.
Yeah, well, that would be cool, and be cool if I got it included on that list.
We're manifesting. Don't worry about it. We got you.
We are manifesting. We are putting it out there. The universe will answer.
Yeah, no,
I will be on that list.
Yeah, no, I mean, they got you in this issue. They got Anne in this issue. I'm like, all right.
Oh yeah, it's a great set of folks to be up against. I gotta see. I'm not sure if my issue is missing the pages or not. I don't really know what's missing. Do you have one with the missing pages, or do you have one with the?
I don't think the complete one's out yet, because everyone that came out.
Yeah, they have to read
this Wednesday.
Are they all missing pages?
I think so.
It said most of them, because I know the reviewers got complete copies, but I think the ones that actually made it to the stores don't.
Okay, I would have to. I'll have to look,
because I saw an article they didn't mention your story missing pages. I think it's complete. I think they said
it is.
Anne's story's missing maybe one page, and then there's I think a whole nother story that was supposed to be in here, and
I think there's a whole story missing, so it's the whole signature. But I didn't know if that was the entire print run, or if it was part of the print run. But I will have to look at my issue up against the PDF and figure it out.
Yeah, I think
there'll be some rarity to it, I guess.
That's what I was saying. I'm like, is this going to be worth more? Because there's missing pages or something.
Ironically.
Oh, that's going to be the new thing. People are going to meet you at cons and be like, "Here, can you sign this?" And you're going to have to be like, "Is that the complete one, or is that the one with missing pages?"
Right. But it'll always be complete for me, so that's all that matters.
Exactly.
I mean, can you imagine? Can you imagine how ultra rare that would be? You get the one with missing pages, and it's signed by Alan Smithy or something.
Well, there is one comic. I think we talked about this. There is one special anniversary edition of Daredevil that has every creator's name listed on the cover, and everybody who's ever worked on Daredevil up to that point is listed on the cover, and Alan Smithy is on there. And the guy came up to me and had me sign it as Alan Smithy, so which nice. I thought was wonderful. So.
Oh, can I share my favorite page with you?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I know how grandma I am about this dang thing.
Yeah, come on, old lady. I was going to say, I know my favorite page. I mean, art-wise, it's just...
I like this one the most.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Oh, yeah, that's what he's talking about. Yeah.
And then this little box right here telling you, yes, this suit is important, and this is why.
Yeah, no, that came together really well. And that, he Ken did an amazing job. I mean, just visualizing that and the strength of it, and the strength of Daredevil, and Devin, had me work hard on that script. I mean, there was a lot of, not that I think the script was off before, but he really wanted to dial up the dichotomy between the Punisher and Daredevil, more than I had it, even to the point of that saying the Punisher runs, dialing that up. That was a lot of the back and forth. Not back and forth by that, I mean, his feedback, and then getting to a better place with the script. Not I don't want to do that or anything. But
yeah, no, I love that panel again.
Oh yeah,
when they kind of first
that's great.
Yeah, when they're face to back. Yeah, it's kind of they're getting physical, and meanwhile Frank's like, "Oh, are you another moral crusader?" They're having a political debate while they're throwing fists.
But right. He didn't have time to debate him.
Yeah, he says no time to debate you.
Right. And then he does the the FU, stepping on his expensive scope. It's all like,
hit him where it hurts.
There's fighting words.
Hit him where it hurts. Yeah. Frank's gonna have to do, extra hours at the job, or where would Frank Castle have a part-time job? I don't know. Would it be
a gun store?
Well, that's kind of obvious. I was gonna say
owns a pawn shop. He owns a pawn shop,
or he works like in the sporting goods section of Walmart or something.
Dick's Sporting Goods.
Oh, meta commentary. Okay.
Usually they just have him steal money, right? From the bad guys.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
There is something interesting about, like, him. Yeah, would he have a part-time job somewhere?
Oh no, he'd be one of those survivalist teachers. Yeah.
I don't know. That's the thing. That's the tricky thing with the Punisher, and that's the
he's not a people person.
Right, and it's also like then you start to kind of feed into the lunatics, who absorb the whole Punisher ethos as if it's
we've had
a mandate for a lifestyle, or
the missing the point brigade. Yeah.
Yes. Stomping down like he's our idol, and he's our and I guess they did a scene in a comic like that at one point where he's like, I'm not your hero, I'm not your I'm not somebody to follow. So I don't even know if I don't think he'd ever do that. Like he's not there to share his skills with somebody else. He's not there to train like another group. He's there to do his own thing. I mean, it echoes back to if you ever were a fan of or watched the Dirty Harry movies, right? If the second Dirty Harry movie is Magnum Force, and there's a group of cops, who start to murder, people, like they think that Harry Callahan is doing, and at one point they confront him, in a parking lot, or parking garage rather. It's like, we're like you, we're and he's like, you're nothing like me, and I'm nothing like you. Like it's just like, this is my thing, so go find your own. So I'd have a hard time writing a Punisher like that, and that's what I was saying. Like some of the things, I read recently as I kind of went down like a little bit of a Punisher rabbit hole was, some of it was just really nasty and just like over the top, like grisly, not badly written in that sense. In fact, quite well written for what it was, but it was just so miserable. Like there was nothing I was interested in, within it. Ultimately, everything gets so horrible and gruesome and nihilistic that it's like, where is this? Like, what is this that you're absorbing into? His whole mindset, like in that particular interpretation was, he really hated his family, hated his wife, he wanted nothing except to leave them. And again, well done for that interpretation. But if that's the case, then what did he do this for? Just because he's a murder machine? I guess.
That's what they were trying to play it,
Yeah. The series I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Series, So yeah, maybe. And that was like, that's a choice. That's a way to go. But that's not a character I'm interested in. And that's not like why I enjoyed the Punisher or enjoyed writing the Punisher when I did. Even in this case, he's wrong in this story. He's clearly wrong, even though I give him a voice, I give him some word journal stuff. But he's wrong. And then he admits he's wrong, sort of, at the end.
Oh yeah. Well,
he could easily have killed that guy, if Daredevil hadn't shown up. But it is a Daredevil story, so it's important that Daredevil does show up.
Because that's what I was thinking. It must be hard to write like a solo Punisher. Because if at least for me, he works better when he's playing off someone like Matt Murdock or someone, because Matt kind of like dances around the letter of the law. I mean, Punisher just steps over the line. It's like, oh, I think you're bad. You're dead. Again, like you showed in this story, he thought that guy was a drug dealer, but it turns out he wasn't. So.
Right, he had been involved in drugs.
Yeah.
That's what he was like sort of setting up, and he had a history of it. But then it's kind of, you're getting into Minority Report, precognition, the idea of like, well, you have been, so therefore you will. But there's a Judge Dredd characteristics to aspects of the Punisher, without the over the top mega city, motif, that is also somewhat worth channeling. And it can be tough to play a Punisher solo story, although I've done that too. But I think the best stuff I did with the Punisher was clearly the Captain America, team up, because it was such a similarity but contrast for us as we kind of came up with that story.
Oh yeah, they're good, but yeah, I love like when you do like Frank and Matt, because especially when Matt's the lawyer, and it's just like no, this is the law, we follow the law, and Frank's just like F your laws, and they caught all these criminals, yeah.
Well, the best Punisher team up, don't you guys? Punisher meets Archie, duh.
Okay, Archie.
As an Archie fan, I had to say it. Sorry.
I have that button somewhere. I love that button. With the Archie head and the Punisher teeth or whatever it is. It's like sort of that was when you do a mashup like that and you make it work. I mean, it's sort of like the Lee Weeks Elmer Fudd thing. That should not work, and yet it does.
But I mean, and again, like I was talking about the guy Punisher's trying to kill. I mean, and again, we kind of get into American healthcare, and it's like how stuff is unaffordable, and so.
Oh my God, there's a message there.
I know, in a 10-page story. Get out of it.
I know.
I know you'll never compliment yourself, but again, look how much you packed into this story. Someone else might have just went with let's have them punch it out, shoot it out for 10 pages.
Yeah, and they punch for 10 pages.
Yeah.
And they punch for 10 pages.
Which, again, there was action in this, but again, there was a message behind it, too.
And that's why I like the, and it doesn't, it still works, but I mean, I set that up even more. That was the Urich scene at the beginning, because Urich was writing an editorial about, the city. I think it starts like the city is sick, it's sick from, the fact people can't afford, healthcare. It's the fact that, the drugs they can't afford are, killing them and destroying things. So, maybe that was a 2x4 too much, but it was fun to write Urich again.
Oh no, it would have been way too, it would have been a 2x4 over the head if he would have been like, no one can afford their Ozempic because all these rich people are buying up the Ozempic.
Right. Exactly. Are getting thin on it. That would be but because there were a few people who like applauded, like, great, classic Frank. Good to see the real Punisher back or whatever. But nobody came at me for being woke yet, so maybe when they read between the lines, they'll realize there's something going on there.
Oh, that could have been the story. Kingpin wanted that Ozempic.
I did that with the end. See what the Punisher was. He does sort of, because these guys, again, were supposed to be working for him. That's no longer quote unquote canon, because obviously it got pulled from the story. But when that gets foiled, at the end he's like reading a headline which is essentially basically like about the company creating OxyContin, and so then saying, oh, I don't need to run drugs on the street, I just need to invest in this company.
Oh,
yep.
So that's how the story kind of ended with him and a bagel, but
Are you sure they didn't pull that last page just because they're like, oh no, don't piss off Big Farm, don't
Don't piss off Big Farm.
I don't know. But yes, I again, bravo. I was so excited when I saw the announcement that you were going to have a story in this issue. I was, and it was
Thank you.
More Black Armor. I was like, yes. So yeah, kids, right now and get again, pick up Daredevil 8, and you'll get Black Armor 4.5.
Exactly, or 4.25 maybe. But I guess it's 10 pages. I guess it's half an issue, right? Yes, and no matter what copy of Daredevil 8 you pick up, that story will be complete in it. So it will be.
Well, everyone should have two copies here soon, because I think they said they're sending out replacements. So
right,
I'm sure the store. I'm sure the store owners love that. Oh, hey, they gave you a bad copy. Here's a new one.
I don't know how store owners are supposed to handle that, or I don't even know. Like, what do you? I mean, can you return your copies if you're a store owner and you've got?
I'm sure they'll give them credit. I'm sure they'll give them credit for it, or like send the complete ones for free or something. But
yeah, I know that they probably will send the complete ones for free, but they will have to turn the other ones in for the credit or something weird like that.
So maybe
somehow, some way, the shop owners are going to get screwed. Don't you worry.
Well, but maybe the store owners could give a, I don't know if this, if they could give a call out to buyers, or at least the subscribers,
Well, yeah, I'm sure
people,
regular subscribers,
like bring your copy back in, and we'll tear the cover off and give you the new one, so then I can send back.
Oh, we're gonna see them in the dollar bins. That's what happens to the ones with the covers off.
With the cover off, that's not bad. That's not a bad thing necessarily. As a kid, I bought like some comics that were barely held together, just from those type of things, and enjoyed the hell out of them.
But I guarantee you, there's gonna be some kind of
black. Conan comics are like that, unfortunately. They're originals.
I guarantee you, there's going to be like some kind of black market where like, oh no, which version is this? Is this the incomplete version, the complete version?
Oh yeah. There's always that kind of fun thing. I got to read the whole issue. I've got to go through all the other, and again, see if I have the complete issue. But I really want to read the other stories, and because I had so avoided reading other Daredevil stuff, while I was doing the Black Armor book. Just to not put myself in somebody else's head.
Yeah, I think you'll enjoy the South stuff for sure. I love Anne's story as well too. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That was a really pleasant surprise, and I'm surprised they only charged $10. I was expecting a little bit more, but I'm glad pleasantly surprised.
Only $10. But I guess books? compared, yeah, 2 coffees at Starbucks, right? So some of these books, it's true.
I mean, compared to what a regular issue costs, I mean, yeah, $10 isn't bad. I mean, especially they give you like so many pages in here.
Yeah. No, it's chock full of storytelling and stuff. But yeah, no, it was definitely fun to work on it, to work hard on it. As I said, there was a fair amount of feedback. Devin had some very specific ideas of the attitude of the attitude between the two of them, and Daredevil's attitude toward him. So I toward the Punisher. So I had to turn the dial up on that, which was good. More, I think more coming at it with that two narrative voice approach, sometimes pushes you into identifying or becoming over familiar with the character. So you're writing it from Frank Castle's point of view, and then you're identifying with him more. So it's like, oh, well, we don't need to have so much friction between them. But even though I think writing wise that works to have the little war journal entries, you have to come back to, well, it's Daredevil's story, and Daredevil's got very little patience for this.
So do you have to be more blunt and not as subtle in like a shorter story like this, where it's like, okay, we got to get to the point? And
I mean, you're being, there's an economy of everything, right? Yeah, and that was again, I think the point of the right call of losing those bookend scenes, even though they were fun and I enjoyed doing them, was to make more use of the space for this. Now I got to get an extra splash page in there. I got to get, the explosion and the bracketing of the falling walls, over the family, was probably like in a 4-panel page or a 5-panel page as opposed to a 2-panel page, that kind of thing. So I think you get to the right effect, and I was still able to balance it out without it becoming overly burdened with narration and dialogue or anything like that.
All right, so
and had fun with it. Yes. Yeah, it was fun.
Oh yeah. All right, and the most important question: when isn't it May 7th or 8th? The Daredevil Black Armor trade is coming up.
May 7th. It is May 7th. It is so that's not this coming week, but the week after. So it will be in stores. Everybody, go out and get yourself a copy if you've read it before. Somebody said, I was talking to somebody the other day, and they were like, well, I have all the issues. It doesn't matter. Go buy it as a gift for somebody. Go buy it as a gift and give it away.
Hey, Mother's Day's coming up,
Exactly.
I have to remind the kids. Thank you, Phil.
Oh, jeez. That's what Dan's been giving his mother the last couple months. Daredevil Black Armor. Come on.
Oh no, she's very insistent that she pays for it. She's like, I don't want your money. Well, whatever.
So
It all comes out in the wash, but whatever makes you feel better.
It's like that. It's like those Seinfeld episodes. We're going to send you $50. Don't you dare send me $50.
Right. Yeah, very, very peculiar. But she did not want the variant cover on this. There was one variant cover for this Daredevil 8, and she liked the main cover more.
And again, are we getting any Black Armor posters or merch or anything? Have you heard anything?
I've heard nothing. There's no there. I'm sure, like anything else, I'd be the last person to know. That would be cool. Aside from the stuff that exists, the training cards, a couple of training cards and stuff. I've seen nothing, nothing new. But perhaps if they did another thing, they would accentuate that with. Do they sell standalone posters or anything anymore? Is that a thing? I don't even know.
The last one I had was that She-Hulk one. I haven't really seen a lot of them lately.
Yeah.
Like that is not like a promotional poster to a store, or like it was just for sale.
Yeah, it was just for sale.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know if I've even seen. I don't know if I saw a poster for. I haven't seen a ton of promotional posters for anything in the stores lately.
Kids, let's bring back posters.
Yeah,
exactly.
Well, if people, see me at a convention, usually I have, these like 11 by 17 prints of different covers.
There you go,
and
kids.
Such. So that's always a chance to get a little mini poster at the very least.
Nice little segue. So are you going to be anywhere anytime soon?
I will be anywhere anytime soon. We may talk before then. I don't know. Depends on when we schedule it. But the Memorial Day weekend, I will be in Oklahoma City, which I believe is in Oklahoma, for GalaxyCon. And so I'll be there those whole 3 days, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, from the long hours that they usually have these things go. So that will be the next show that I'm at, and then there's a couple others over the summer, but we can talk about those as we get closer. But I just started posting a little bit about that.
So yeah, go get your Black Armor mini posters, because again they're
yes. I will put some of those together. That would be that Punisher shot would be good if I didn't have the word balloons.
Oh, there you go.
Like there's a way to get the word balloons off there, but I don't have that image. But usually I've had the Bagley, some version of the Bagley cover, and Nethos's shot, there that you've got behind things. That's a strong one, but you never know what is going to appeal to people. I invariably Lee's cover from 300 is the one that people want the most. That's almost I could almost just probably bring those, and that would be the thing. I bring some stuff and it doesn't move, at all. There's no, which is odd. I would think some things would connect more with people. I always thought the Punisher, Captain America covers were strong and very little interest there. The Hellraiser ones I printed up never moved. The Bill Sienkiewicz Wolverine ones never seemed to catch people's attention. A couple of Terra Incorporated ones, more than I would have thought. And I was actually considering seeing if I could get a nice print of the one page from Daredevil 300 where he's standing over the Kingpin, and then there's the dialogue about "I forgive you," which
Lee's favorite page. Okay,
Lee's come around. Lee likes it now. Lee understands what I was going for, even if I didn't understand it at the point or could articulate it. But Lee gets it now, and I get it now better. So. Now I could understand what I was going for.
What we need? I know these things cost money, but maybe like a poster or something, a collage of just like a bunch of that stuff you just mentioned.
Like a one,
like a Chichester collage. Yeah, it's just it's like the cover to 300. You got some Terror in there. You got some Black Armor.
I mean, that's sort of the banner I have. Is kind of like that. I don't know if you've ever seen that, but that's like sort of like. Yeah. I've got a lot of covers, on that in the background, but it's hard to say, if somebody would want all that, or they just want, that people seem to kind of glom onto the thing that they're most interested in, right?
Yeah.
They're into the, they're into Daredevil, so they get that, going on, or they're into maybe Batman Daredevil. That one always seems to catch people's attention because they don't know it existed. And sometimes, I always laugh because I try to just keep engaged with people the whole day, and they come by and I'll catch their attention and I'll talk to them. And some people have no idea who I am, which is fine. But then you talk to them for 5 minutes and then they're kind of semi-intrigued and they look around the table and they're like, oh, that's cool. Did you draw this? No, I wrote it. And then they'll buy a little mini poster, with an autograph just because, I don't know if they're doing me a favor and they feel like I gave them some time or I told them where the bathroom or the ATM is, so you never know. It's always just fun to talk to people.
Oh, let's plug that too, because they're putting out that collection of all bunch of the DC and Marvel crossover stories. So your Daredevil Batman's going to be in there. So
right, I think the Amalgam story's in there too, isn't it? Is that all?
I know. I think they were talking. I don't know if it's like a different collection, but I know they are. They are going to be. Yeah, I don't know if it is or not, but I know they are reprinting that Amalgam stuff somewhere too. So,
right.
So.
I would assume that would be in there, but I don't know. But that's going to be one of those like mega books, right?
Yeah,
like
I don't know if they're doing like volumes, like like a first volume, a second. I don't know,
but those books are not readable on the go. Those books are
the big hard covers or like size of the phone book.
I mean, they're beautiful volumes. And I saw the Jim Lee wraparound, which looks extraordinary, but it is really just you need a book stand or a coffee table to kind of just put that on. There's no casual reading with that type of thing.
All right. Anything else for this man, Lilith?
No, let's let him have a Saturday back.
All right.
Speaking about something new.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Thanks for the shift in intention. This was a smart play on your part. So, kudos. And
we had new content out. We had to cover it, and again, we had to beat these people over the head with Daredevil Black Armor. The trade is coming out May 8th.
May 7th.
May 7th. All right.
May 7th. Be there. Your store opens at probably 11 o'clock. Be there. And I will say for listeners and viewers, the first person who shows up at GalaxyCon with a Black Armor issue or the trade gets the autograph for free. So that's the standing deal there. And if you show up in Black Armor cosplay, you will get an entire collection of the original Fall from Grace issues. So show up in Black Armor cosplay. I'm waiting for the Black Armor cosplay to make an appearance.
Oh, nice. So you said you are appearing. I think I saw you're appearing somewhat close to here in Hershey at the end of June.
Yeah. Hershey is end of June. So that should be fun. That's only a 2-day show, but that will be. I'm looking forward to that.
Nice. All right, Nisha, you want to promote the Substack?
Yeah, there's nothing going on there, but storymaze.substack.com. Actually, there will be something going on there. In fact, the first thing I'm going to put up in Forever and a Day is those missing scenes that I just described. Ooh. So I will be putting up those Kingpin and Ben Urich scenes just as a nice nod to this surround. So this is a perfect impetus for me to get my newsletter acting gear.
All right, and again, next month we will get to the Terror we were going to do this month. So Terror
back to Punisher.
Yes, so speaking of Punisher, yes, Terror meets Frank Castle. Yes,
yeah, which was a fun, as I recall, a very fun murderous story, and a special appearance by my mother in that. So that
really,
did you guys read those issues? Did you read them before we shifted gears?
No, I was gonna.
Okay, when you read the issues, the 3 mobster women are her and her 2 best friends at that time. So
I can't wait to talk this.
Yes. So yes, absolutely. So that is she is a Marvel villain.
Does she know this?
Yeah, she knows.
Oh,
this.
Okay.
She has a page, not the original page, but like a print of one of the scenes, like in a little thing on her wall.
That's why she's buying all these Black Armor. She wants to see if she's in the issue.
Yeah, she wants a return. Yeah, like Dave Papose, brought back Shock, so in his new Punisher story. So I have to bring back these mobster, women to play off a new story in the next Black Armor.
What are you having me do now in the comics, Daniel?
Exactly. All right, folks, listen, have a great Saturday. Enjoy.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the new story. It was great.
All right, thank you. Take it easy. Be well.
You too. Thank you.